Let me check if there's anybody in the chat. Not yet. Okay, we'll check on that a little bit later. Oh, let's refresh this. I need my stylus. I'm on my phone. I am on my phone doing this, so forgive me. But I'm doing it vertically so you all can see it. We're going to talk about FTX today. So we're going to talk about FTX today. And wow, what a week. What a week. It didn't even have a chance to hit my my price of 2300. Didn't have a chance at all, but it did crash, and it crashed fairly decently, I think. I think it crashed fairly decently. I'm looking at it. So I'm looking at it, and it's interesting how it all works out. If you've seen my last week's live stream, I talked about how it would hit up to maybe 23, maybe up to 24. That never happened. But what did happen was that I knew it was a false signal. I knew it was a false signal. And not only was it a false signal, okay, but also that it would basically crash back down back to the trend line, which I've drawn up here. So amazing how that happens. Now, does that mean I'm right? Did I call it? Am I some kind of predictive genius? No. This is what happens. It happens quite a bit, and of course, it is based on news. As far as technicals, there might be some technicals. It's kind of interesting how it works with the technicals, how current events works with technicals, but it doesn't mean anything, actually. Okay, I'll be honest with you. It does not mean anything. There's, if you know the history of cryptocurrency, you know this is what usually happens when the price starts crashing. There's always some exchange that either gets hacked, all right, or is running some kind of fractional reserve, or it's a Ponzi scheme, all right, it's basically a scam, or mismanagement of funds. And in this case with FTX, it seems to be a little bit of everything, a little bit of everything. So am I surprised? No, I'm not surprised. Is it shocking? It's always a shock. It's always a shock to get news of a company. What's shocking to me, at least, is that there's always some company, all right, whether it, I mean, the obvious would be like a Mt. Gox, but other than a Mt. Gox, there's been many others. Every time there is this cycle after the halving, there's the price increase, the boom, the bull market, and after the bull market is when you start seeing the hacking, the exchanges out of reserves. I mean, it's amazing. They don't know what they did with their customers' funds or their customers' cryptocurrencies. It's just not there for some reason. It's kind of weird how that happens. It just blows my mind that this continues to happen. And of course, it's in a area where it's very little regulation, so to speak. I mean, it should be regulated, but I'm surprised how often this happens with regulation going on at the same time. It's not like FTX was a non-regulated exchange. I'm assuming they were. Now, how often they were following quote-unquote compliance, I don't know. I don't know. It's hard to say. I'm not privy to any special detail more than you are, but here's what I do kind of know. It seems that they basically took customers' funds, customers' deposits, and simply just reinvested in other essentially crap coins or their own coin, or into another company that invested money into crap coins or their own coins, pay themselves handsomely for doing that. So they definitely did some shady stuff. Now, am I surprised this is happening? No, no. This cryptocurrency industry has been very, very ripe with this kind of activity. Always has. Happens every 4 years. It never happens during the down markets. It never happens during the down markets. Always happens during the up markets. Well, I'll take it back. Uh, it happens during the up, right? The bull market. All this stuff is happening during the bull market. Just people find out about it after the bull market and when we're going into a bear market, because essentially, I think what's happening is basically it's a little bit of Ponzi scheme, but it's not a Ponzi scheme. Uh, I'll get into a chart analysis here very shortly, but I just want to talk about FTX because I've been hearing all over the news. Even the regular financial news are talking about it. They're talking about the Lehman moment of cryptocurrency, which is kind of funny because this happens every bear market. This happens every bear market. It's FTX is not unique in this manner. It's not the first, and it will not be the last. It brings up memories of the Dow. It brings up memory of Dogecoin. I don't know if anybody remembers Dogecoin, but Dogecoin had something similar to this, where there was someone who was not a charge of Dogecoin itself, but took a leadership role in that area of cryptocurrency with Dogecoin, and a lot of mismanagement of funds, absconding with the money, a lot of advertising. Dogecoin was sponsoring, well, this company was sponsoring a NASCAR driver, which had the Doge dog on their car, the Dogecoin and everything. This is way back then. So this is nothing new. This happens almost every bear market. What surprises me, well, it doesn't surprise me, but what makes it funny and hilarious is how people always make it seem to be worse than it is. And the chart shows the panic going on. The chart really shows the panic going on, but for me, it really doesn't matter. It's just a signal. It is a technical analysis on a chart. That red candlestick that you see right here, I'll try to point it out. You probably know what I'm talking about. This particular candlestick where I have my crosshairs over it. That candlestick is basically just a representation of FTX and what's going on in the market as far as news, an event. Other than that, it seems to be in line with all the technicals that I see. Let me refresh. I'll refresh it, and I'll pull back a little bit. If you're wondering where that line is coming from, I'll pull back, pull back, pull back. There you go. That line's coming from the all-time high to, I don't know, the next time it did a dead cat bounce, sometime in May, around May, June area, and that's the two connecting points. That's the line I got. And if you zoom in a little bit, you can see that it kind of broke out of that line. That is the false signal I was talking about last week. It did seem like a false signal. There's always a false signal, okay? It's never a V, right? It just doesn't, because it broke out of that trend line, doesn't mean it's going to go up. So there is a false signal. And of course, the false signal attracts buyers. People get hyped. They think market's going to go back up, or there's something good going on. It was kind of strange to see how long the price was moving sideways. It was moving sideways for like almost 4 or 5 months. I found that a little unusual. So there probably was a lot of things going in the background. I think a lot of people knew the collapse was coming. There are probably a lot of people that knew. People in the industry probably already knew, and they were definitely they were definitely in the know, and they just kind of kept it quiet because the market was just lull for a very long time, which is kind of unusual. And the fact that it just broke out of that trend line looked like it was going to go back up, but nope, nope. It did a little mini dead cat bounce and then fell over. Literally just fell over and falling off a cliff. So FTX, I don't recall the guy's name. I think it's Sanders Fred, Bank Sanders Fred or something. Forgive me, I don't pay attention too much. What I can tell you, it seems like it was not necessarily a scam at first, probably, but most likely greed kind of set in. And, you know, when you take money and you invest it into your own crap coin and you're pumping your own crap coin and you're the largest holder of your crap coin, I don't know how it was started, if it was a mine coin, if it was a initial offering kind of style, whether they had a fixed amount for the developers of their own coin. But if they're taking customers' money or money in general and they're pumping it into their own coin, of course it's going to go up. But if they're the only player in the game and their value is worth that coin and they're the only player in the game, that's really bad news. That's a recipe for disaster. So you're seeing a combination of poor management, a combination of Ponzi, a combination of poor investment. Not only did they invest, I think, in their own crap coin, but other crap coins that may actually even be related to their company. So essentially, they just invested in their own coin. And as they were pumping their own coin, being the largest holder, most likely, that made them a very, valuable, quote unquote, valuable, company. They were worth billions and billions. And the reality is they weren't worth anything. All right. They were worth billions on a computer monitor. That was about it. If they're the only player, once they sold any of their coins, any of their own crap coins, the market would tank. So they really had no value whatsoever. It reminds me a lot of the dot-com days, housing bubble, you name it. It was a little combination of everything. It was just a recipe for disaster. I've never actually heard of FTX. I understand they sponsored a stadium, which sounds a lot like God, what was that company called that did the same thing? I'm trying to look them up right now. Oh, BitPay. BitPay did that, and then they got hacked. So they're not the first company to sponsor like a stadium. I don't know why people think like FTX is so big. I think what happened is it's all the noobs. The noobs come into the market, right? The greater fools, they come into the market. So we were seeing a cycle here. The cycle is, you got the pump, you got the bull market, you have essentially the noobs coming in, which basically is this Bankman Sanders Freed guy. FTX comes in. They are essentially the noobs. They have become the greater fool. All right, they became the greater fool, and eventually became the useful idiot because they were really promoting the cryptocurrency industry. Supposedly, they were also saving other troubled exchanges and other troubled cryptocurrency experiments, only to find out they themselves were in trouble all the time, um, taking customers' funds and buying other crap coins for the most part, and them being the largest stakeholder of the crap coin that they bought, which pumped up the price, and being the only player for the most part. And so you got the greater fool and then the useful idiot, and eventually they just became the bag holder. So when the market tanked, and when you're in basically a bear market, and you're the only player of your own crap coin, and customers are making a run on your exchange trying to take out all the crypto and probably Bitcoin and whatever else that they trying to pull out, or they're trying to withdraw their funds, their money from your exchange. Well, by that time they're probably running on fractional reserve, even worse for an exchange. On top of that, you have mismanaged funds. apparently they were FTX were also uh, dumping money into another company in which they owned or had a relationship with called Alameda. And so that's when I think at that point, when you're taking your customers' money or you're taking your own money and then reinvesting into another company that essentially is doing the same thing, you're starting a Ponzi at that point. It becomes a Ponzi in that sense. And then you're taking on investments. It's almost like very similar to what a lot of these bankrupt companies have done. Enron, MCI, gosh, what other companies? There are so many other companies that have done this. They take their money and they invest it into another company and call it an investment, and it's really just a pit hole, a money hole. And you have basically a black box. You don't know what it is. They're just making assumptions on stuff. I'm assuming with Alameda, they made the assumption that their cryptocurrency that they bought with basically FTX's money, which was valuated as the value of Alameda, and so it became like a false number in the books to make it seem like they're worth more than they were when they were really worth nothing. When you're the owner of the crap coin that you bought and you created, and then on top of that, you value yourself on your crap coin that you bought and you created, inflating the price and being the only player. Yeah, that's a bad recipe. Anyway, so that's what has happened. That is the panic selling. I'm not sure why it's selling. I'm not sure how much it's involved with Bitcoin. It's probably not, because if you're a true Bitcoin maximalist, you would first of all never go to an exchange unless you're just buying Bitcoin for the purpose of buying Bitcoin. And second, you would never have your Bitcoin on that exchange. You would pull it, you would withdraw it and put it into a cold storage wallet, or your own wallet where you control the private keys. So if you're a true hardcore Bitcoin maximalist, that's what you would have done. Of course, there's people who are basically the noobs, um, and the noobs that essentially became the greater fool. You bought into it. You became the greater fool. You bought in from somebody else, and then you became the useful idiot. Now you're the bag holder, and essentially now, I guess you can call some people who have dumped all their coins or most of their coins. You essentially become two things you become after you become the greater fool, all right, and the useful idiot. You become the no coiner. In other words, you have no more coins because you were never really interested in the coin. You were interested in the money, more or less, which I guess you don't understand the purpose of the cryptocurrency if that's your intent. You totally missed the boat on that one. It went over your head. The other thing you become, if you're not a no coiner, is you're the bag holder. So you're really you really believed in that project. You really believed in that coin, which is, at least you believed in it. Hopefully you learned from it as well. But essentially, because you're the bag holder, um, you're either a really true believer, which probably by now you realize that what you believed in was false. All right, you believed in something false, and you have to realign your belief system. Or you could double down and just keep going with it and buying more of the crap coin that you bought, um, whether it be Bitcoin or not. I mean, if you're really a believer in that, I'm essentially a Bitcoin maximalist myself. So although I have no skin in the game anymore. I have no skin in the game. I don't even trade anymore. But I love talking about the cryptocurrency industry because this cycle happens every year. And when something like this happens, and you can see in the chart the big red candlestick, people always point to that and say, "See, See, that's why you shouldn't get into cryptocurrency. It's interesting. They say that only when the market is down, but when the market is up, these naysayers are nowhere around. All right, they're too embarrassed to say that they missed out. It's kind of interesting. So it depends when you're in the market, but in reality, if you're really a believer, you'll stick with it. And the markets usually do come back. It usually coincides is when Bitcoin has its halving. There's no other indicator than the Bitcoin halving to indicate when the bull market will start. I don't know why people always think that their coin or their project or their crap coin is going to all of a sudden be the coin to take over the industry and survive through the bear market better than any other coin, because it usually isn't. Um, Most coins, if not all coins, and let's take a look at most coins. Where are they now? Most coins don't do well. If you just simply look at their year, so you look at from where they were 365 days. Most of them are in the red. Some of them are in the green, but they're usually they're anomalies. They're usually, but if you look at all the red, they're usually anomalies. They're probably the chart kind of shows it, but most of them are lower than their all-time highs. That's for sure. So there you go. There you get some idea of how many coins are out there in the market. There's over, how many coins are there? This is one of 50. Okay, one of 50, and there's 1,044. All right, 1,044 of these altcoins, also known as crap coins or shit coins, and most of them are basically clones of Bitcoin with a little variation. You got to remember, Bitcoin was the original, and it was an open source, so that means anyone can grab the code and create literally their own crap coin. Literally, that's essentially what FTX did. Okay. They just created, for the most part, their own coin. Now, I don't know if it was a proof of work or what it was. Was it some kind of like initial coin where they had a initial coin and then went to a proof of work, or they had I don't know what it was, but whatever it was, anybody can start their own coin. All right. And if you have enough money or other people's money, you could essentially inflate your coin. And if you are the creator and also the largest holder, you could essentially become a billionaire if you wanted to. You could have a billion, XYZ crap shit coin that you basically have mined yourself on your laptop because no one's heard of you, no one knows that you exist. Take your money or other people's money, somehow get it onto an exchange, or if you have money, which apparently FTX did, the concept was, how do you become a billionaire? How do you become a millionaire? Well, first off, you start off with $1 billion, start an exchange, cryptocurrency exchange, and then you become a millionaire only to become actually broke. That's how you actually. That's the way to go. Apparently, FTX was already, the founders were already wealthy to begin with, so they just kickstarted their company, their exchange, with their own money, creating their own coin most likely, and then eventually to take other people's coins and other people's money to basically buy other crack coins to become a fake billionaire, which they were never fake. They were never billionaires. They never had any money. And just to let you know, most billionaires don't have $1 billion in the bank. All right, they're just worth billions of dollars through stocks and whatever other things that they own. They don't have like a bazillion dollars laying around. So, this idea that this guy was worth billions of dollars, not true. Not true. He was worth only whatever he had in cash at the time, and whatever he was worth was not what he was really worth. So, anyways, so the market has freaked out, which it happens all the time. Um, if I was in the game, which I am not in the game anymore, I'm not in the game anymore. Okay. If I was in the game and I wanted to play this out, what would I do? What would I do? Well, I think we are in the fifth leg. This is a signal for me, at least for me, that we are in the fifth leg of the wave cycle, as I did talk about. Where is the bottom? Where is the price? Oh, oh, I have to change my thumbnail. I put September 7th. Today's not September 7th. Today's September 7th. Today's it's not even September. I don't know why I even put that in there. Anyways, I gotta change my thumbnail. I just looked at it. Matter of fact, let's do it. Let's do it together, if we can. Hold on. Or never mind. I'll change it after. You're probably looking at it going, what is going on? Why is there Wednesday, September 7th on that? It's not even September 7th. It's yeah, you're right. It's not. Um. Anyways, so I just look at my thumbnail. I put the wrong date. Oh God. So we are in the fifth leg. So let's take a look at the overall chart. All right, let's take a look at the overall chart. Okay, so we are in the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so we're still in the fifth leg here. I'm going to zoom in just a little bit. Okay, so this is the beginning of the fifth leg. I think it will continue to go down, most likely down possibly to 10 to 13,000 to 10,000. You won't have the opportunity to buy at 10 or 13,000. You're not going to have the opportunity to buy at the bottom because it will be a spike at the bottom. Most likely you will not have your orders in place because you're impatient, and most likely when it does happen, uh, it's kind of weird. You could have a buy order at, let's say, 10,000. Well, guess how far the price is going to go down? Probably at $10,001. That's the bottom. So it's never going to hit your order. So that's what I find. It's that you might be right that it is going to hit 10,000, and it kind of did. It almost hit 10,000, but it didn't. It hit $10,001, and you had all your orders lined up at 10,000. Orders never hit. All right, and then you're like, oh, you're going to wait. So you still have your orders. Instead of buying, making a market order, you're still waiting. You're still waiting. By then, it's too late. Most likely, it will never reach that price again after the next bull market. And here you have all your money lined up, ready to buy at 10,000 or 13,000, whatever. Yeah, whatever you have. So the problem with market orders, or the problem with order books, is that somebody can see them, and when somebody sees them, they know that for whatever reason, your price never gets to that point. It just seems that way. I don't know what it is. I'm not saying there's some kind of conspiracy or anything. It just seems to happen that way. You could have a market order, or you could have a buy order just waiting there. Never hits. Never hits. And what's interesting, as soon as you take it off, it hits. It's so weird that way. So if you see the opportunity and you think it's a good bargain, just go ahead, just make the market order, because that's probably the best way to do it. Because if you put your order in the books, right, you put your buy orders, somebody sees them, that information gets leaked out somehow, some way. This information where your limit orders or your buy orders are, your stop losses, and all that. Uh, that can be seen by somebody, and that can be taken advantage of. It can be manipulated. So at this point, I am going to range around maybe 10 to 13,000. Not because other people say 10 to 13,000. It's just that's just the price area of where it was last time. If I can move this, see if I can move this around to the previous all-time high as a support area, possibly 10 to 13,000. If I can move my, around there, and that's just a guess. Okay, it doesn't mean it is. Sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes it'll just be above it. Sometimes it'll go a little bit below it. But whatever the case, that could be the market bottoming. And again, it's not going to gently, you know, the chart isn't going to gently just float down to 10 to 20,000. It's just not going to do that. Most likely what's going to happen is there is another violent price movement in which the prices start moving violently to the point where you're not going to have the opportunity to buy. You'll see it on the news. You think you can buy. The price is already recovered by then. It would be, it's one of those things. So you're just off. You're just better off if you want to dollar cost averaging, or if you think it's a good price, go ahead and get it now. Either way, the bull market is not here. We are still in a bear market. The projected bull market to start, I think, will be November. Next November. It doesn't mean the price is going to skyrocket. I just think that it's going to start turning around by November. You'll start seeing it. It may actually start going up by then too, because by then it's only about maybe 6 months away from the actual halving. My only concern is the rest of the economy. Will the rest of the economy recover? Will the rest of the economy recover? I don't know. I don't think it will. I am predicting the overall world economy to go into a recession. Hey, how you doing? Such a disaster. Well, yeah, it is a disaster. But if you think about it, in the crypto industry, what's the difference between Mt. Gox and the Dow and what's that other exchange? I mean, there's so many exchanges that have gone belly up and collapsed, and most of them happen either they were the trigger for the bear market, they happen during the bear market, or they happen well, those two instances. They were the trigger for the bear market. Usually the bear market was already started and they just kind of fell from the prices that were already being depressed, or they invested in their own crap coin, or they were running on fractional reserve. So when the price of the cryptocurrencies on their exchange were going down, they had to give up more coins, which they didn't have. And so, lower price means people can buy more coins at a cheaper price. So when they're running on fractional coins or fractional dollars and people are trying to withdraw, that's a bad sign. And usually that leads to, an exchange collapsing. How does that affect the market in the real world, peer to peer? I suspect a lot of people are very happy with this. They are getting a reduced price on Bitcoin. They're the problem when you get a market crash like this, and it's been about this price. I mean, it bottomed out at what, 15,000. Oh, excuse me. It bottomed out at what, 15,632, and now its current price is what is the current price actually? Current price is 16,623. And so it has recovered, but you know, in the real world, when you're trying to buy Bitcoin peer to peer on the market, let me see if I do this. Will it give me the current price? No, it doesn't. If you try to buy cryptocurrency, a lot of times there's nobody who's going to sell because they're at a loss. They probably bought at a higher price for the purpose of reselling, and now the price is down. Most people aren't going to sell at the low price. So even if you got a low price, even though the price is low or the market has crashed, trying to find Bitcoin peer to peer, okay, peer to peer, it's hard. You're not going to be able to buy because no one's going to be selling at those low prices. Eventually, they will sell. I do predict that the prices will continue to go down further because this will be the fifth leg. Now, how bad will it be? I think the 10,000, that's too low. I think we're very close. Maybe down to 13. I think it'll edge close to 10,000, but I don't think it'll ever hit 10,000. You'll if you're on an exchange and you're waiting for a market order, or not a market order, the if you're waiting for your buy order to hit at 10,000 or whatever, it probably never hit. It will never hit. It just That's just how it is. Yeah, you just if the iron's hot and you think the price is good right now, you should get it because a bird in hand is better than what, two birds flying around or something like that. Whatever it is. My point is if you think it's a good deal, you should get it because in the long run, you're probably going to make out like a bandit. I've gone through about maybe 3, 4, maybe 5 cycles. Has it been 5 cycles? No, it hasn't been 20 years. I've been through like at least 3 to 4 halvenings and 3 to 4 the bull and bear market, and the price will never go down back to whatever it was the previous cycle. It just hasn't happened. Now, interestingly enough, the world economy has never been in a recession during that time. Technically, a recession. So we're coming into a recession. This will be the ultimate use case for cryptocurrencies. Will it last? Will it work? Will it do it? Will it be useful in any way during the recessionary period or maybe even a depressionary period? I think it will. The question is, will the price go up? Because this free money that we've had for such a long time, and it also shows in the price of the crypto market. I mean, it's the price of the crypto market's highly inflated for the last 10, almost 20 years, or ever since its inception of Bitcoin. So will the price continue to inflate? With inflation going on, I do think it will. I think it will also be a great hedge against inflation. I just don't know the performance. This is the first time I think we're going to experience a recession, a world recession, along with the crypto markets. It's going to be interesting to see what happens. I think there's going to be a lot of crazy things that are going to go on. I think there's going to be a lot of your typical Ponzi scams, your typical run on the bank, your typical fractional reserves, your typical, using customers' funds to indulge, you name it, And another thing is, I also think this FTX guy, the bankman guy, he's gonna go to jail, and then mysteriously, he's gonna die in jail. That's also a trend. I don't know if you noticed that trend. It seems like every year there's always been somebody who's been arrested related into the cryptocurrency market. John McAfee, Who else? The guy who ran the illicit exchanges. Oh god, there's been so many people who just mysteriously just die when they're in jail. It's kind of crazy. Supposedly committed suicide. So, anyways, all right. My final predictions. All right. As far as technical analysis goes, this I did say that the price would come back to the trend line, which it has come back to the trend line. It will dip below the trend line. And after it does that, I don't think it'll hit 10,000 though, but it will go down below the trend line back into the channel. And we're still technically in a bear market, but we're in the fifth leg of the wave. And I think after that, we pretty much hit bottom. I think that's if there's any more bad news, it should come out now while the price is like tanking. All the cryptocurrency markets are tanking. If there's any more collapses, it'll probably come out right now, furthering the momentum of the downward price pressure. And then after that, it will just slowly slide going sideways. And then you'll have moments of peaks, moments of spikes going up and down. You'll get a lot of whipsawing. So trying to do momentum trading on this is going to be tough. If you do range trading, you'll probably do okay. But the problem with range trading is once you get into the bull market, you're going to be a loser every time because it's just not going to work in your way. So and when the bull market happens, by the time the bull market comes back, it's too late. I'm thinking it will come back probably November. I don't know how much it will come back. I don't know if it will go to 100,000 or 300,000. I made those previous predictions before based on previous numbers. It's going to be interesting. Again, I think the global world economy will go into a recession by that time, and we'll see how the crypto markets react. This is going to be the first time the crypto markets are going to be in a global recession. Who knows what's going to happen? I do think overall the price will go up at that point, though. So fifth leg. All right, I'm going to wrap it up. We're in the fifth leg of the wave, so we're close to bottoming. If there's any more bad news coming out, it should come out from here until the end of the year. It will range sideways for a very long time. You'll be whipsawed up and down. So you'll have your limit orders, stop losses hit all the time if that's the way you're playing it. If you're smart, you should be buying and holding. I always recommend buying and holding. Smart people who buy and hold, you don't hear from them. You know why? Because they don't want you to know. They want you to be the idiot. They want you to be the no coiner who dumps and drives down the price. They don't talk about these things because it's a gravy train for them. It's a gravy train. Why would they bother with telling you? They wouldn't. You just have to learn on your own. And then finally, I do think next year, November, the bull market will start to happen. You won't know it, so you have to prepare now and stack your Bitcoins now in order to get into it, because there will be a point when the bull market starts happening. There's going to be a run on the coin, everyone. And you won't be able to get any coins. You won't be able to get in by the time and when you're able to, you'll be too late. You'll be the bull market will probably be halfway over, and you'll just enjoy half of the jubilation, the euphoria, before the market crashes, before you get the opportunity to sell your coins or make a profit, quote unquote. Anyways, I'm going to end the live stream here. Thanks for tuning in. I'm going to go ahead and change my thumbnail. I put the wrong date on there, so I'm going to change my thumbnail. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put today's date. It's not Wednesday, September 7th. It's Monday, November 14th. Goodness. Anyways, thanks a lot, everyone. Thanks for joining the live chat. Thanks for watching. Next week, we'll see what it is. I think the price will go down. All right. I think there's more price depreciation to go. So see y'all next week. Bye.